And tonight, the Native American Music Awards is proud to introduce him as a true living legend. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Tommy Allsup.
Thank you very much. Boy, it's hard standing up here without my guitar, I'll tell you that. But I'll have it a little bit. It is my honor and pleasure to be able to participate in this evening, the Hall of Fame induction, honoring the great and late Ritchie Valens. On January 23rd, we started a tour out of Chicago. I'd been in New York with Buddy Holly. I got a script. I can't go read it, so I'm going to just tell you the story. We got a train from New York to Chicago. We got to Chicago and found out that they didn't have a band hard for the tour, so they said, would the Crickets back up the acts? And we said, sure, no problem. So that was my first meeting with Ritchie. The first couple of weeks of the tour, we had 5 buses. It was like 25 below zero all over Iowa and Wisconsin. And we would get cold. The buses would freeze up and break down and whatnot. They'd send out another bus. It'd be an old bus, and maybe in a couple of days it would break down. The heaters never worked on any of them, so we literally froze. They said, be sure and bring some warm clothes. Well, we came up from Texas, and we didn't have any warm clothes. So anyhow, we started the tour off, and it was sold out everywhere we played. And, of course, I was playing guitar with the Crickets and backing Ritchie and the Big Bopper. And Ritchie would say, Tommy, show me that lick you played on It's So Easy. Well, It's So Easy got me the job with Buddy Holly. I went out to Clovis, New Mexico, and recorded with him. And he said, I've got this new song, and I want to make it kind of a guitar and vocal, kind of a play off of the words. So worked me up some licks. So I did, and fortunately, that was his next record. This was in May. So in June, they released the record, It's So Easy. I get a phone call from Buddy. He says, Tommy, I needed you to go on tour with me because they've released It's So Easy, and I can't play the solo you played on the record. So it's called Job Security, right? So anyhow, it was a wonderful opportunity to get out of a nightclub I was working in Oklahoma. So we did the tour 2 nights before we got to Clear Lake, Iowa. We had played in Duluth, Minnesota. It was 30 below zero. We left, and our bus was going up a hill, and it literally froze up going up a hill just outside of Iron Horse, Minnesota. And we're sitting on the bus trying to stay warm, and we're parked right in the middle of the highway, no cars. It was in a snowstorm, kind of a blizzard. And our drummer said, Tommy, look at my feet. His name was Carl Bunch. So I got a flashlight, went back and looked at Carl's feet, and they were brown. He had actually got frostbite sitting on the bus. So about half hour went by, and we saw some lights coming down the road. And we were very fortunate. It was a deputy sheriff. So he took Carl into the hospital and 2 or 3 other people, and they sent the sheriff's posse out and got the rest of us. So we spent a night, hovered around a stove at a little hotel there in Iron Horse. Got a train the next day down to Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we got to Green Bay, and we didn't have a drummer, but they had a band that opened for us, and their drummer backed up all the acts on the show. So Buddy tried to charter a plane from Wisconsin. He said, let's fly over to Clear Lake. No planes was flying out of Green Bay, so we rode the bus the next day. We get to Green Bay just barely in time to play. We still don't have a drummer. So when Ritchie Valens sang, Buddy Holly got back and played drums for Ritchie. When Buddy sang, Ritchie got back and played drums for Buddy. So I saw a lot of Ritchie that night, coming on and off of the stage, and every time I'd see him, Buddy had chartered the plane already for himself, me and Waylon Jennings. And Ritchie kept saying, Tommy, you going to let me fly in your place? Because, Waylon gave up his seat to the Big Bopper because Big Bopper had the flu. And I said, well, no. So 3 or 4 times that night, every time I'd see him, he'd say, come on, guy, let me fly. And I kept telling him, no, no, no. So after the show that night, I got on the bus, got my dirty shirts, my white shirts, so we get some laundry done up at Moorhead, Minnesota. and had them in a little bag and walked back outside. And right behind the surf ballroom, there was a station wagon with the guy that owned the ballroom. His name was Anderson. He was taking us out to the airport. So I slid in the back seat with Big Bopper, and Buddy, for some reason, Buddy Holly said, "Tommy, go back in and check, make sure we got everything loaded." Because back then we didn't have roadies. We could load our own stuff. We carried it in, set it up. And so I go back in through the back door of the surf into the dressing room. And Richie was standing in the doorway going out into the ballroom, and he was signing autographs. And he said, "Tommy, come on, let me fly." And for some reason, I don't know why, I just reached in my pocket and pulled out a 50-cent piece, flipped it and said, "Call it, Richie." And he said, "Heads." So I said, "You're flying." So I go back out to the station wagon and tell Buddy, I said, "I won't be on the plane because me and Richie flipped to go on to see who goes, and he won the coin toss. But I wish you would go to the post office." My mother had sent me a letter to. Back then you send everything general delivery, and I said, "Pick up my mail." But he said, "Well, give me some idea of some kind, so in case they ask me." So I pulled my wallet out. I started thumbing through it. And I was trying to find my driver's license. He said, "Oh, just give me your wallet." So he took my wallet, put it inside of his coat pocket. And the next day, when they found the bodies, they found 5 wallets, 5 identifications, and 4 bodies. So the first news that went out over the Associated Press that I was a possibility of being on the plane, they wasn't sure until they identified the bodies, and they said, "No, Tommy went on the bus." So that's how the coin toss came about. And I think about it. You know, you just get up in the morning and thank God you're still alive. So, thank you. That's not the end of the story. So I went out to California in '60 to go to work with Liberty Records, and I tried to find Richie's mother, and they had moved up around the San Jose area. And I hadn't seen or met none of the family until 1994. I go back to Clear Lake on the 35th anniversary, and I met his sister Connie. And, you know, I wondered, well, what do you say? You know, all that time I thought, is she going to hug my neck? Is she going to blame me? Or, you know, and she was so gracious and said, "You know, we welcome you into the family. From now on, you're our brothers." So I had a new family. I got the Valens, and so after a while, me and my new brother will be out here entertaining you. And we hope you enjoy our show. And thank you very much for being here. It's a great honor for me. Thank you.